Hey, good evening. Welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Last Sunday we went to a celebration at the Village of Hope. The Village of Hope, in case you don't know, is an orphanage, and it's a special kind of orphanage in that it does not offer children for adoption. The children that are there, they number only about 45, which I don't know why, but right or wrong, I always think of orphanages as having a huge number of children, but that's not the case with the Village of Hope, VOH. And they are people that we have found to be greatly helpful to us, and people that are extremely grateful when we give any help. We were able to donate to the Village of Hope. We were able to donate our bus, and that was one thing that we did there. And we do other things. We try to help. We took lechon along, which is the food gift of choice in the Philippines. You cannot go wrong with. There are three things you cannot go wrong with in the Philippines. One is chicken, the other is rice, and at the top of the list is lechon, which is of course the sacrificial pig. Well, we went along and we took a pig, cooked, and an ice cream, and so we were well received and well appreciated, and we were looking around, and I like to think that we're now friends of the Village of Hope, and we were there a couple of weeks ago, and it really stood out just how different an orphanage is from certainly what my vision of an orphanage is. When I was a kid in Manchester, we used to go to a place, I think it was called Style. It's a long time ago, okay? And Style had an orphanage there. And I had no cause to visit an orphanage, so I had no first-hand knowledge. But it seemed to me that it was not a happy place, a place where children who were damaged and abandoned and orphaned, and so with an unhappy background, went to just last out their stay before they were able to leave and go and live an ordinary life. Well, the Village of Hope, the thing that sticks out incredibly, and it also was confirmed by my friend Mike, my New Zealander Mancunian, fellow Mancunian, and he said, I just notice how much love there is in this place. All right, now, you guys talking about love, sound like a big girl's blouse, as my brother would say. But it's something that really sticks out, and you cannot fail to notice how the children interact with each other. And like for the great number of times that I've been up to the Village of Hope and just seen how the kids behave, how they thank you for gifts that you have brought, like take a sack of rice, and they're very, very happy with that, and they thank you, and they sing their thanks, which is always an almost overwhelmingly emotional thing, to have a load of kids sing to you. And so it always sticks out how they look after each other. I remember that time before last that we went there, and I was sitting waiting for Jam, the director there, and Beth to finish talking in not Tagalog, in Visayan, so that I could get a word in. And I'm just watching the kids around us, and there was one little boy who was sitting on his own, and he looked a little bit lost, more my stereotypical idea of life in an orphanage. And as I looked on and was wondering what could I do, and a little girl who was not much older than the boy went over. She was big enough to pick the little boy up, okay? And that's exactly what she did. She picked him up in her arms, and she walked back that short distance to where a crowd of kids were all joking, laughing, just being friends. But really more than friends, being brothers and sisters. And it was a very touching scene to watch, because it really did show that these kids love each other. And there was one particular young girl who I believe was something like 13 or 14, and she was there because her mother was acting in the capacity of a house parent, and I heard her say, well, Mum, I don't want to go home today. We were there on a Saturday. I don't want to go home today. I want to stay here. The idea blew my mind that there would be a child with a home to go to and parents who would choose to stay at the orphanage. And the way that the orphanage is set up is in 4 houses set in the mountains of Rizal, I believe it is, and it's the orphanage is set up, and they're houses, and each house has about 10 children and at least two parents, so a mother, a house mother and a house father. And usually the Village of Hope, when they find and engage a house mother and father, they like them to have their own children. And once again, this is something that one of the house mothers told me. She said, "Yeah, well, yes, we have a little boy." I said, "How does he feel about the fact that you're working in an orphanage?" She said, "Well, he loves it. In fact, he chooses to bunk in with the kids, and so there's no separation. There's no one kid being above another. These are all looking after each other. In a way, they're all parents, because the one thing that they have all lost is parents, for one reason or another. Some for the most terrible reasons, the most abusive, the most unhappy, and others for being orphaned. So the reasons for why they are there is varied. Some need help, some just need loving. Well, they all need loving, don't they? But it's a magical thing to watch how kids take care of each other when their resources are all coming from in the heart. They take care of each other. And certainly at the Village of Hope, the one thing that you cannot miss is the fact that here is a group of kids that, irrespective of the loving help and support that they get from the staff, who are like their parents, these are kids that look after each other. They watch out for each other, like the little girl who took the moment to look out of that happy little band of kids that were all interacting and playing together, and take note that the little boy was looking very lost, and she went over, as I said, and she gathered him up in her arms and she took him back where he was welcomed into that happy little group. I'm not over idealizing this. This is a story that tells itself. It doesn't need any magic interjected into it. It's all there. So you can go to the Village of Hope of the Philippines, and they have their own channel on YouTube. Now, there's a very good reason for why you should go there, because to see it firsthand, there are some videos there, some which we've made and put up for them, and then others. I think that my friend Stephen from Hong Kong, who loves to take photographs, or he takes video with his drone, and he took one of the Village of Hope. So there's a place, or there's a channel where you can see the village from on high, and so I urge you to go and have a look. It's worth it. And subscribe. They can use all the help that they can get. And bye for now. This is a foreigner in the Philippines.